What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Week 10 edition of the Sunday Social on the Fantasy Six Pack YouTube channel. I am your host, Dylan Clemons, and we have a loaded show ready for you guys. I got Matt Crubel from the Fantasy Parlay FF guys here to talk his betting card. Then we got Joe Bond coming in, multiple-time top 5 ranker, to talk his rankings and to answer questions like, is Parker Washington the wide receiver to start this week at Jacksonville with the acquisition of Jakobi, Meyers, and Brian Thomas out? Is Caleb Williams a start this week after finishing as QB1 with some high winds and possibly snow in the forecast? Then we got the start-sit portion of the show for an hour with Kyle Senra, Ike Bonni, and Keith Flemming jumping in to answer all your start-sit stuff. And then Keith's going to come in. He's going to chop it up, talk his DFS lineup and what he's got going on in his plays this week. Good morning, everybody. I see you guys in the chat. Good morning, Jamie. Good morning, BD. Matt, my guy, we already got football going on this morning too, in Berlin with the Colts leading 13-7. You got any money on this game, or how's your morning going, man?
It's going good. It's going real good. Yeah, I mean, I've got a little bit of I got a few bucks floating around on this game, and I also have Daniel Jones starting in a dynasty lineup today. So, yeah, we got some things popping for this game.
Nice. Yeah, Daniel Jones hit Alec Pierce on a bomb touchdown, which was nice to see. Alec Pierce finally exploded, man. I think in his third year now, but it's good to see from him. I've kind of always liked him as a player, and obviously Daniel Jones is playing at a high level here in this one after a stinker against the Steelers last week, who I'm pretty sure you took last week, didn't you?
I did take the Steelers. We actually went, I think I went 5-1 last week in my NFL plays. So really good.
Love that. So go ahead, jump right into your betting card for this week, man. Week 10.
Yeah. So guys, the first game I'm going to take is, could it be an obvious one? Maybe to some, maybe not to others. I'm taking the Panthers -5.5 playing at home versus the New Orleans Saints, guys. Listen, the New Orleans Saints they're the New Orleans Saints. They shipped away Rashid, Shaheed. Yes, Chris Olave's been good. The Panthers defense has surprisingly been decent. I'm not going to say great, but they've been okay. And when they play at home, I think they are better. The offense is still trying to figure things out with the whole Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard situation. But overall, guys, the Saints are just not a good team. They're not a good offense. I think the Carolina Panthers are going to cover this game. So give me the Panthers -5.5.
I like it, man. That's actually on my betting card. I took it earlier in the week at Panthers 5.5. Like you said, the Saints shipped off Rashid Shaheed, one of their better offensive players. Alvin Kamara doesn't look like the same guy. He's not as effective as he's been in years past. Not even really using him in the passing game. The Saints, It's not pretty, man. And the Panthers they're playing decent football right now. They're winning games. I think we found out, Matt, this year. We're still not sure on Bryce Young yet, but I'm pretty positive Dave Canales is a good coach.
I agree with you. Yeah, in all aspects there. The Panthers haven't played their best football, like you said. What is Bryce Young going to be? He's looked good at times. He's looked really bad at times, but we do know that their offense is serviceable. They have a potent offense when they put all the things together. Their defense is playing okay. I think this team is better than what we give them credit for. But I would be scared to see what they would look like if everything got put together on a given week.
Right.
Everything was put together.
No doubt. Maybe that's this week, man. They put everything together.
Yeah.
So. All right, man. What you got next?
Okay. And another one, it could be kind of an obvious play here. I know that there are going to be some people that like the potential of the home dogs in this matchup, but I'm going to take, the Cleveland Brownies -1.5 on DraftKings playing at the New York Jets. It's another situation where the Jets just shipped off everybody on defense. No more Sauce Gardner. He's playing today for the Indianapolis Colts. Quinyon Williams is at Dallas now. And regardless, I don't even know if we have fully, I think they might have announced it yesterday, who's going to be the starting quarterback for the Jets. So I think we're expecting Justin Fields to start, but I don't know that we have a definitive answer. This team is in complete shambles. I don't know what Aaron Glenn's doing. Breece Hall is probably crying in his pillow because you desperately know he wanted to be traded out of that place. And they got rid of Sauce Gardner, so that's just another burn in the old pouch to Breece Hall. Yeah. And I think the Chiefs offered a 4th round pick for Breece Hall, and the Jets still turned it down. So I don't know about this Jets team. We know that the Cleveland Browns have a good defense. Yes, they are playing in New York. Could New York surprise us? I suppose. But I think whoever the quarterback is going to be staring at Myles Garrett's face mask the entire game.
Yeah.
And the Cleveland Browns with Dylan Gabriel, he short passes. I look for those tight ends to have a good game if Fannin is indeed playing. But Quinshon Judkins, I'm taking the Browns minus 1.5, and I'm taking Quinshon Judkins at an anytime touchdown.
I like it, man. I don't mind that one at all. Like you said, the Jets are in shambles, and I mean, Jamie disagrees with you here. Never bet on the Browns.
Jamie.
The Jets are going to jet too, man. So yeah, it's not pretty. And Breece Hall's a guy, man. I don't know what to do with him in fantasy football. Like, is he just going to mail it in the rest of the season? Like, is it go towards more of a 50-50 split with him and Isaiah Davis now? I know it's kind of already been trending that way. Like, Breece, I know it's a contract year for him, so maybe that keeps him motivated and stuff. But do you have any thoughts on him, on Breece Hall for fantasy the rest of the year?
So if I had to look at it from the point of perspective of a GM, right? I looked at Breece Hall is, like you just said, he's going to go one of two ways. He's either just not going to try very hard anymore, or he's going to try extremely hard, and then hopefully he can get a trade after the season or get a deal done. But in my personal opinion, I think the Jets are going to franchise tag Breece Hall, and then we're going to be in for a very messy situation because I don't think he really wants to be there anymore. Right. I mean, to me, that's been clear as day from his media, interviews and his tweets that he puts out. But yeah, to be honest, I don't know. I think that situation is very murky. And to be honest, I'd even be inclined to take the under of this game. It's set at 37.5, so it's very low. I don't see this really being a high-scoring game, but yeah, I think Isaiah Davis gets a little bit more integrated.
Yeah, right as you say
that. There you go.
Point Isaiah Davis going to hit his over on receptions today. Very well could, man. It's tough to
run. I like that.
Defense, maybe that's their version of running, getting the ball to Isaiah Davis with some open space. But all right, moving on, Matt. What do you got for your next game?
So this one's more of a field play, and I think it's just more because they're playing at home. I like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at minus 2.5 at home. They're a very hard team to beat at home. I know New England's been playing pretty good of late. Drake May looks special. I think he is a very good quarterback, and I can't wait to see what he brings for the future of this organization and the NFL in general. No Rhamondre Stevenson today. So TreyVeon Henderson, is Mike Vrabel going to, bulk up his carries? I know everyone's been calling for the TreyVeon Henderson show, but something must not be exactly right there because I think Vrabel is a good coach, and I think he knows what he's doing. But on the flip side of the coin, listen, Tampa Bay coming off a bye, playing at home. Emeka Egbuka got that extra week of rest. He's healthy. Like I said, I know that Bucky Irving, I don't think, have they ruled him out? I think they have ruled him out, haven't they?
Yeah,
okay, today. So Bucky Irving and Chris Godwin both ruled out. But the crazy part is Baker Mayfield's a dog. Like, he is just a dog. They find a way to get things done. Their defense is starting to look really good. And again, at home, that's just a bonus. I look for Baker and Egbuka to cook today with a little bit of Cade Otton involved in that. And then maybe some Tez Johnson or some other receiver, Sterling Shepard. I don't know who it's going to be, but I like the Tampa Bay. I like the spot here at minus 2.5 at home versus the Patriots. And I think they're going to get it done.
I don't mind it at all, Matt. Do you think that the Patriots are for real? Like, do they have a chance of, I know they have a chance of winning the division over the Bills. Like, if you were, I know you are a betting man, would you be comfortable maybe sprinkling a little bit on New England winning the division over the Bills? They already beat them once this year too.
I think if you are a gambling person, I wouldn't mind throwing a little bit on that. I think the Patriots are a little bit more special is not really the word, but I think they're a little better than what people think. They, again, it kind of reminds me of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Vrabel and Drake may find a way to get it done. I know earlier on in the season, they had some defensive problems. They had some injuries. Christian Gonzalez was not there, but he's back. So I do think that the Patriots are better than what people think. It's just Josh Allen steals the headlines, right?
Yeah.
It's the Josh Allen show. I mean, him and Dalton Kincaid and James Cook. Like those are like the three guys that are, you see Shakir a little bit and he gets sprinkled in, but Keon Coleman, he's been like just obliterated off the face of the earth from like week one.
No doubt,
So I think the Patriots potentially have a more complete team, but they're young and they're just trying to put things together. If the Patriots had another prominent wide receiver other than Diggs and Booty, that'd be scary. I'm surprised they didn't go after a wide receiver there in the trade deadline.
I hear you. They haven't got what they thought they were going to get with Kyle Williams, their draft pick, earlier this season. So it is a little bit surprising. Maybe they did try. You got anything else on your betting card, Matt, or do you want me to throw a couple games at you that I took?
You can throw a couple at me. The only thing I would say is, go ahead and throw a couple at me. Throw a couple at me.
I took Baltimore minus 3.5 against Minnesota. Yeah. I think Baltimore is just going to keep rolling here. Minnesota's defense has been not as good as of late. Flores is getting beat up a little bit there, especially on the ground. I like Derrick Henry today as well. What are your thoughts on this Ravens-Minnesota matchup?
I love it. No, I love your take there. I do have that on a betting card. I just wasn't, you brought it up, so I wasn't going to say anything. So, no, I think healthy Lamar Jackson's scary. I think this Ravens team is going to be a very dangerous second half team. We talked about it on our show. This could be I really think the Ravens can still make a valid run at this whole thing. And I think Lamar Jackson is just going to be very, very dangerous the rest of the season. And his schedule looks pretty good. So I love your take. I'm taking Baltimore to cover all day.
Love it. And it says something when Vegas has Baltimore favored to win that division still. Last I checked, I don't know after Pittsburgh winning last week if that changed, but that was interesting. Jumping into the Steelers, I just mentioned Matt. I also took them at plus 3.5 against the Chargers today. Chargers down both tackles. Joe Alt, unfortunately, done for the year. Rashawn Slater's been done for the year. The Steelers defense has woken up a little bit. We saw a good game plan from them last week. Hopefully that's just not a fluke because they haven't been very good this year, but it was good to see them. And I think TJ Watt, on the outside I think he's primed for a big day, man, with him coming off the edge. What are your thoughts here on the Steelers-Chargers game?
I don't hate your take here. Being a Steelers fan, actually, I love your take, but no, I could see, I didn't bet on this one personally. I could see both situations here. And if you are a person like that has a situation like this where you want to bet like both, or you don't know who to bet, I'm on a situation like this. Like the thing that scares me with the Chargers is yes, their offensive line doesn't look great. I know they made a trade for an offensive lineman there at the trade deadline, but the scary part about the Chargers is their wide receivers are so good. And Justin Herbert is unreal, right? He's been running the ball. And that is what I feel like could hurt the Steelers. But then on the flip side of the coin, the Steelers, you got to think of the situation that they're in. This would be a huge win for the Steelers. And they're still competing for that division, right? So they want to continue separating themselves or keeping themselves at the margin that they're already at. So when you get a team like that in a situation, I think you do play a little bit desperate. Now, Aaron Rodgers is a smart quarterback, whether you like him or not. He is a very intelligent quarterback. So if you want to bet on the plus money, the Steelers are a great bet. This is a situation where this should be a good game. But if you also want to bet just on the Chargers, then maybe sprinkle a little bit on like some anytime touchdowns or Justin Herbert to get a certain amount of rushing yards or receptions for a wide receiver. That's the way I look at a game like this when I look at it in a betting stand. I don't necessarily need to bet someone to cover because then I get pressured into maybe building a parlay when you're already taking the favorite, but you're still hesitant on it. So maybe build a parlay with that.
Yeah, no, I like that, Matt. And one thing we didn't mention, too, is I don't think the Chargers have a true home field advantage here.
No, they don't. No,
the Steelers fans travel great, as you know, man. And I think, I think that could sway it in the Steelers' favor here in this one.
You're gonna see some more terrible towels in the stands than you are Chargers fans, for sure.
I believe it, man. I believe it. But all right, Matt, before we get you out of here. As I stumble over my words. If you got anything else to add that you got on your betting card, go ahead and plug away as well.
No, I think I'm good. Just bet responsible, guys. Take the games that you like, go with your gut. And like I'd say, everybody in my show, if you're new to gambling, just bet small and build up a little bankroll, pull some away so you don't just blow it all. Just bet small and build it up. Just become a responsible gambler because it is fun and it is addictive. So make sure you're doing it responsibly. But if you guys want to check us out on any of our for our podcast, you can find us at Fantasy Six Pack here on YouTube. Every Tuesday night, we do our live betting show where we give you guys our best bets, our free best bets. And then you can become an all-access member at fantasy6pack.net. Get your all-access membership, guys. You can see all of our bets plus a ton of other content that you guys really want to see. It's good stuff over there. So, or you just listen to us on our audio side at the Parlay Fantasy Football Podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Perfect. All right, Matt. I love it, man. I love hearing your stuff, and I'm excited to do it again next week, my guy. Take care.
All right, guys. See you later.
Good luck this weekend. All right, man. That was great stuff. Let's go ahead. Let's bring Joe Bond, founder of Fantasy Six Pack, onto the show. Multiple-time top 5 ranker. Joe, how you doing this morning with football already off and running?
Pretty good. Frustrated Bijan owner here.
Yeah.
So what else is new, man? Yeah. What else is new?
And we've seen some fireworks in this game already. We've seen Drake London just caught a 16-yard touchdown, man. He's turned into a fantasy stud with Michael Penix.
He's so good.
As his quarterback.
He's so good. I loved him before the season, so I'm glad to see it actually working out.
Yep, and they actually use him smart with the jump balls near the goal line. That's why he's a former basketball player at USC, so definitely it's good to see them using him.
And I know a lot of people were kind of worried about him because obviously the Colts got Sauce. What's up, Jamie? But they move him around so much, and Sauce doesn't play the slot, doesn't cover the slot. So that's all they got to do. They just got to move him to the slot, and Sauce is like, he's like, see, man, I need to go run this way. You're like,
No doubt. All right, man, let's jump into things here. And there were some moves at the trade deadline. One thing, one of the bigger moves I would say from a fantasy perspective was Jakobi Meyers moving from the Raiders to Jacksonville. Parker Washington was a darling last week, was very good. No Brian Thomas this week. What are your thoughts here on Parker Washington this week? Do you think he's on the edge of a must start with Jakobi Meyers there? Or do you think Jakobi's going to eat into him a little bit this week in a limited role or so?
I've got Parker Washington down kind of at the bottom of wide receiver 3 range. I think if it was a better matchup, Houston's been just brutal to passing offenses this year, man. Like the only game anybody has done anything against them was that Bucs game, like week 2 or something like that. Mm-hmm. Other than that, man, they've completely shut everybody down. So Jacksonville's offense hasn't been great anyway, outside of the running game early on, and Travis Hunter a couple of weeks ago. It feels like so. I'm not really optimistic with anything the Jags are going to do today in the passing offense. Parker is the guy that I would trust more than Meyers. I mean, it's going to take time for Meyers to get acclimated to that team, chemistry, that kind of thing. I mean, look, I said it on the Fantasy Six Pack Hour. I've said it in a couple of articles. Receivers moving at the trade deadline typically do not work.
Yeah.
It's, I listed 3 of them on the Fantasy Six Pack Hour, quizzed Corey and AJ about it. The 3 since 2018 that have been worth a damn since they got traded mid-season were Amari Cooper with Dallas in 2018. 2019 was Emmanuel Sanders when he moved to the 49ers. And then just last year, Devontae Adams. And even that one was kind of like rocky at first. It took a couple days. It took a couple weeks. And then at, near the end, Rodgers was just like, I'm just going to throw touchdowns just to you. And that was it. So Meyers moving over to Jacksonville, it doesn't really move the needle for me on him. And if anything, when Brian Thomas is healthy, I think it actually makes it worse for him. Because he was the number 1 in Vegas. Not that meant a whole lot. So, yeah, I'm not really optimistic with either one of those guys.
Okay, no, that makes some sense. One guy who I'm interested in, I am starting him in a couple places. He's my only quarterback, Joe, and I'm a little bit worried this week with some weather concerns in that Bears game.
Yeah,
I woke up to some snow on the ground here on the border of Illinois and Wisconsin here, and it's supposed to be some wild winds right off the lakefront there in Chicago. Caleb Williams had a great week last week. Do you have him in starter territory this week, or are you worried, Joe?
Right on the edge. I got him at QB 11 right now. I do have him 2 lower than consensus. Yeah, that game does worry me a good bit. I will say on the other side though, Dart, I'm still in on him. That rushing that he can do. His passes are typically pretty short. So I think he's going to be fine. He's just going to run the ball, and if anything, it almost kind of helps him because he'll just run more. So I'm not as worried about Jackson Dart as I am Caleb, who does rely on the pass a lot more. He can scramble, but that's not really what he wants to do. So yeah, I'm worried about it. I mean, the guys behind him, you're looking at Goff. You could easily argue that one, right? I mean, Washington is terrible. Sam Darnold going against Arizona, their corners are out this week, so that could be a good one to go for. I wouldn't argue, I could easily see myself as the games get closer pushing Williams down a couple more spots here, just because that weather, 20 mile per hour, like sustained winds, that's not good.
Alex said, can confirm it's brutal in Chicago right now. Yeah, man, I'm worried. And the league where I'm starting Caleb too, it's bare on the waiver wire. A lot of people roster 2 quarterbacks. So I might just be stuck and hope for the best, Joe. Maybe Caleb scrambles in a time or 2 in the end zone. We gets a little lucky there. But yeah, I'm definitely worried. They don't really like Caleb throwing the ball a whole lot around the red zone anyways, as is. That's like last week we saw all the trickery with Caleb catching 2 touchdowns. Catching a touchdown and all that stuff.
And it seems like every time they get inside the 15-yard line, there's like 3 penalties.
Yeah.
I don't understand what the Bears do. It was the only reason why Washington was even in that game for a while there, was they just shot themselves in the foot every time they got close.
I know. And it's super frustrating, man, as a Bears fan. Joe, and then another question I got for you. We already touched on Jakobi Meyers and his role this week and moving forward a little bit. Another wide receiver who changed teams this week was Rashid Shaheed going from the Saints to the Seahawks. He's pretty excited about that. Sam Darnold's quietly one of the best deep ball throwers in the NFL, which is a little bit wild to think of, but his resurgence here last year with Minnesota and Seattle, he's continued. So what are your thoughts on Rashid Shaheed this week and moving forward now in his new role with the Seahawks?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot of the same, honestly. This week, I wouldn't be counting on it. Again, it's going to be another one of those. They have to get acclimated, and the very first week is a rough week to trust that. Yeah. I mean, look, he's always been sort of just like a deep ball threat type of guy anyway. And so if you want to trust, him catching 2-3 balls and hopefully one goes for 60 yards and a touchdown, be my guest. That is not my kind of game when it comes to fantasy. I want a little bit more consistency. And I just kind of think that that's what it's going to end up being for him pretty much the rest of the way. So I'm not really going all in on him, especially this week.
Yeah, no, he's not really someone you can trust unless he proves it. And maybe I don't know. Do you know if Cooper Kupp's playing today or not?
It's looking like he is, although Torrey Horton looks like he's on the wrong side of questionable. Actually, I think they listed him as doubtful.
Interesting. Okay. And then one more question, Joe, I got for you. TreyVeon Henderson. Last week was the first game without Rhamondre Stevenson. I think he finished with 9 or 10 fantasy points. It wasn't awful, but it wasn't overwhelming either. What do you think his outlook is this week? I'm blanking who the Patriots are playing. They are playing Tampa Bay, tough run defense. So what are your thoughts here on TreyVeon Henderson this week?
Not great. I mean, it's, they used a lot of Terrell Jennings. It's weird because early in the season, right? When it was Stevenson and Henderson, right? just those two. Stevenson was seeing 75, 80% of the snaps, yet was only seeing like 60% of the carries, maybe 55% of the carries, and passing work was sort of mixed. Mm-hmm. And then Henderson saw the other part of that. Last week, Henderson just moved into the Stevenson role, which you love the snap count, but the usage still isn't there because they just go, okay, Jennings, you're going to take 40 to 45% of the carries. And then they gave Jennings the goal line carry, which pisses everybody off.
Yeah, of course.
So, the Bucks are they're actually not that great against the run. They allow the 11th most points. So it's a defense you can run on, but I don't really trust it, man. Like it's just he's a borderline RB2 for me. Okay. He's back end RB2 for me right now, and yeah, it's hard, man. Like I just kind of wish they would just try it. Just try it once, man. Just give him the workload, see what happens. Jennings can't be that good. Like, right? And Stevenson wasn't. Just see what Henderson could do if you give him 20 carries a game. Maybe he'll surprise you. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me.
No, it's definitely frustrating as a fantasy owner with him, that's for sure. And Joe, I want to throw one at you here. I'm looking at your rankings compared to ECR, and I wanted to touch on this with Tucker Kraft going down for the Packers with the torn ACL, and that passing offense was kind of run through him and his yak capability, his yards after the catch. And Joe, looking at your rankings, you have Romeo Doubs up to wide receiver 17 this week, which is 8 spots higher than ECR. So do you think some of those targets funnel more towards Romeo Doubs? Because let's be real, he is the number one for the Packers at the wide receiver position.
Yeah, I do. I think we're going to see a lot of Doubs right now. Musgrave is fine. He's going to get a good number of that, but he's not the playmaker, not even close to what Kraft was. And so, we're going to see a lot of Doubs and a sprinkle of Musgrave, and then Christian Watson will see the rest. And it sounds like Wicks might play today, but he's just kind of a meh to me.
Yeah. All right, right on. Yeah, no, I'm a fan of Romeo Doubs. I think they're going to definitely need to get him more involved. Joe, before we get you out of here, though, why don't you write an article over at USA Today, your top streamers at each position. So why don't you go ahead and break those down for us before you get out of here?
Yeah, a little rough on the quarterback streamer route here, as you kind of alluded to. But, for guys that are available, I went with my top streaming quarterback as JJ McCarthy. Okay. Not pretty, but, those weapons, man, you can't deny it. And, it's the Ravens secondary and that defense is better, but still not great. So I think he can make it work if you're kind of desperate for streaming quarterbacks. I want to say the Arizona Cardinals running backs, like any one of them, but let's be real. Like we don't like every single week. We're like, oh, it's going to be this guy. And then it's this guy. Like, did anybody see DeMarcado getting the lion's share of the carries last week?
No,
nobody. No, not even close. And then I was like, wait a minute. What? Okay. I'm going to go Blake Corum then. Like double-digit carries in the last 2 weeks. I know they've been complete blowouts. The thing that got me was that when it was only a 10-point game at the very start of the second half, they gave him the first drive all to himself. He only got taken out when he got inside like the 10-yard line, and he was gassed.
Sure.
And so they gave him that entire drive. It could have just been like, yeah, we're good. We're going to win this game. And they did easily, but I like that. And they're trying to get him more work. It's not, look, this week is bad for streamers. A lot of the guys that we liked for weeks all started to finally get picked up.
Yeah.
Manon Guy was one, right? And with Swift out last week, he got scooped up everywhere. Parker Washington has been one for a while. He's obviously being scooped up with Brian Thomas Jr. out. So over to receivers, I had Darius Slayton on here as my number one. But I think that's going to be sort of a iffy one with the wins. Yes. Obviously, I didn't know the weather when I wrote this on Thursday. So I am gonna go Christian Watson.
Sure, why not? Yep.
Number 2 receiver for the Packers. They got to throw to somebody, right?
It's okay.
It can't be.
Back.
Odds are they're going to get 20 targets. So it's a deep threat. It's a high risk, high reward type of play there. That's what you live to die by sometimes when it comes to streamers. Tight ends, go right back to Juwan Johnson.
Yeah, why not?
I don't understand why he doesn't get picked up more. It's no Rashid Shaheed now. They clearly are going to give him the ball. It worked last week. Do it again. And then I'm going back to the Jags. It didn't quite work out last week. That was wild, man. There was 15 combined total points before the fourth quarter started. And then fourth quarter and overtime, 44 total combined points. That game got absolutely out of hand, man. They're playing Houston with Davis Mills.
Yeah.
Just go. Man, I think that's going to be a really good matchup for the Jags.
Yeah, no, I like that too. Division game, sloppy, Jags pass rush against bad offensive line of Houston, Joe. Yeah, can't go wrong there. Before I get you out of here, man, go ahead and plug away what you got going on, and then
Yeah, same as always. On Twitter, X, F6P_Joe. All the stuff is over on Fantasy Six Pack. The rankings, I do the usage article over there. Update the projections and all that jazz. And then a couple articles over there on USA Today each week. I'll be picking back up the trades one starting this week. And then the streamers sleepers article that drops on Friday.
Yeah, make sure to check out that trades article, guys. We got fantasy trade deadlines right around the corner here for a lot of
just a couple more weeks.
So make sure to check that out. Make sure to check all Joe's great stuff out. So, all right, man. Looking forward to talking to you next week, Joe, and good luck this week.
Yeah, you too, man. Good luck. Bye.
All right, everybody. Let's go ahead and jump into our start-sit segment. We got Ike Bonni, we got Kyle Senra, and we got Mr. Keith Flemming back with us this week. Keith, glad to have you back, man. Glad you're feeling better. How are you feeling about your Atlanta Falcons with a 14-13 lead at halftime over the Colts right now, my man?
I've seen this movie before, so not great. But we'll see. We have the ultimate example that the game is not over until it's over from Super Bowl. You may have remembered.
Yep.
So, but I mean, I do just love that they're targeting London at a high rate. It was something that they kind of went away from, especially when this offense has been stagnant. And he should be basically the focal point of this passing game. You throw it to him a lot, and then you run it with it. Obviously Bijan and Algier.
Yeah, keep it simple. Kyle, Ike, good morning. Let's jump right into it. We're gonna go Rico Dowdle or Quinshon Judkins to start off for SR2 here. Kyle, go ahead.
I've got Rico Dowdle.
Rico Dowdle.
At this point, it looks like Canales trusts him more, so we should also trust him more. It's the Saints defense.
You guys worried about the quad injury he's been dealing with at all? Or no?
Didn't seem to affect him last week. I mean, he was in and out of that game and still productive, so no.
Sure.
They took him off the injury report, so he was still going into this game with a questionable tag, maybe, but it looked like a full practice Friday. So.
All right. Keith, who do you got here, Rico Dowdle or Quinshon Judkins?
I like both of them, but I think Dowdle is the safer play. Had 86% of the rush attempts last week. To Kyle's point, he is taking over that backfield. More importantly, saw all the carries inside the 5. Actually had a 15% target share, which was only 10% less than Chuba Hubbard. And then the big thing in the 3 games that he's got 20+ touches, averaging 171 rushing yards and 31.3 fantasy points per game. And he did it last week against a non-awful rush defense. You could have maybe said, it was the Dolphins and the Cowboys. Packers are a good run D, and he ran all over them. And then for poor Cowboys fans, man, the 2 touchdowns last week gives him 4 with Carolina this year. That ties his total of 3 seasons in Dallas.
Man,
sheesh.
Ike, you gonna go Dowdle here or Judkins?
Yeah, I'll go Dowdle.
All right, stay with you here for the defensive question. Texans or Browns defense?
I'm going Texans, I guess, because their defense is good against everything.
Against Jacksonville. Who do the Browns got today, guys?
Jets. I mean, I can see why they're asking. In my rankings, I have both in the top 5. So I would say you can't go wrong. These are both good matchups. I guess, Lawrence turns the ball over, right? But I think we have more faith in him as a quarterback than Justin Fields per se, but a lot of interception chances with Lawrence. So I don't know. I'm
kind of with Kyle there. Yeah.
You have the Browns one spot higher. I guess both defenses can produce sacks. So there's also a safe floor, but then the turnover chances.
Yeah. Justin Fields also takes a lot of sacks. So that one's definitely interesting. I have the Browns.
Justin Fields meet Miles Sanders or Myles Garrett.
Yeah, no doubt.
Miles Sanders talk earlier.
Keith, do you have a lean either way between Texans and Browns defense here or no?
Yeah, I'm going to start the Texans every week unless they're playing an elite offense. I mean, they allow the fewest fantasy points to quarterbacks, 8th fewest to running backs, 4th fewest to wide receivers, 5th fewest to tight ends. They're literally good against everything. And as much as like I do think, Cleveland could have a monster game, they're not as good of a defense. Like they're just not. Like Houston, I think, is the best defense in the NFL. And by the way, they have been killing it as of late. I think having 7 turnovers and 13 sacks in just their last 3 games.
Yeah. All right. I like that. And then should he go with Tet with the hammy, or should they lean Keenan Allen here? Has Ladd starting in the lineup as well already. I mean, I don't like him.
If McMillan plays, I would, go with that because I just, I feel kind of a little nervous about playing 2 Chargers receivers when the difference when Joe Alt has been on the field and off is huge. So now they have, 2 backup tackles protecting Justin Herbert. No surprise, they're 4-0 in the game. Alt's played. Herbert's QBR is 80. It's in the 40s in the games he doesn't. So that would be my concern about starting receivers. And at least with Tet, even banged up, he's going to get a majority of the targets in Carolina.
That sounds like a stat we must know. Almost like I heard it on the show this week. Check out
go ahead.
Keith and Casey's stats you must know, like that one, for instance.
From Dollar Bill here morning, Pop Douglas, Loveland, or Luke Musgrave in the flex PPR tight end premium. Keith, we'll let you take this one to start.
I'm going to have to go Pop Douglas. And normally I always would go the tight end and tight end premium. I think Musgrave has a great chance to be a really good player rest of the season. Obviously, he's not going to do what Tucker Kraft did, but I mean, they're going to have to throw to the tight end. That's what Green Bay does. But Pop Douglas over his last 4 games is seeing a target on almost 29% of his routes run, averaging just under 5 yards per route. And then the big thing, he's doing that playing less than 25% of the snaps. He also, by the way, has over 200 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. The reason that's important is Kayshon Boutte is out this week. So you would have to assume that Douglas, despite not being on the field the last month for more than 25% of the plays, that's going to go up if they continue to target him the way they have in the last 4 games when he's on the field. I think he's got a great matchup, and I do think New England's going to struggle running the ball, even against Tampa, and be forced to throw, and that would be good news for Douglas.
Yeah, I lean Pop Douglas here myself. Ike, is that where you go?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Kyle?
I'm actually looking at the Bears' injury status. Is Cole Kmet expected to play?
He is expected
yes.
to. Yeah.
Okay. Because I was going to say Loveland otherwise. Now, what kind of shape is Cole Kmet in? Because if it's expected to play but also not very healthy, I might still lean Loveland anyway.
I don't think he has an injury designation.
It was a concussion. It was a concussion that he was hurt from as well.
The one thing, what Loveland did last week, is it like a Rico Dowdle situation where you cannot put the genie back in the bottle? Now, after what Loveland did, is he now a prime part of this offense?
Well, let's not forget who he did it against, okay? Cincinnati Bengals just gave up 1,000 yards the last 2 games. Like, I'm taking everything against Cincy with a grain of salt. The Giants are terrible versus the run, and I think that's where, especially that's supposed to be kind of a bad weather game. That's my only concern about Jackson Dart, this week. And because, again, he's been one of the best secrets in fantasy football, but that's going to be a bad weather game. I could see the Bears really leaning, having both Monangai and Swift active. The Giants are awful versus the run. Like, they are by far, they have the worst rate at line of scrimmage. They're in the bottom 4 tackling in the first level, second level, and third level So I could just see Chicago trying to shorten that game again because it is supposed to be, I believe, really cold and then also high winds for that game.
Yeah, 20, 25 mile an hour winds I've heard, and yeah, it is cold here. And the Bear Stadium's right off the lake, so yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one there.
It's snowing right now too there.
I'm looking at like the fantasy points allowed per position. Seventh, like the Giants are seventh to quarterbacks, the second most to running backs, as Keith was mentioning, seventh most to wide receivers, but 22nd most to tight ends.
Okay.
That actually does seem to be the one position they defend well. So yeah, I'm gonna maybe lower Colston Loveland a little bit. I had him in the top 12, but I think I'm gonna drop him out of the top 12.
Right on.
Yeah, Pop Douglas does with
All right, from Dion Kyle, we'll let you take this one. We're gonna go Baker Mayfield or Drake May this week.
It's funny. I think they mentioned this on the DFS show last night, Scott and Bo. For sure wanting May over Baker in DFS. It's only like a $200 difference, but you got all the rushing upside with May. I've got him ranked at QB4 this week, so definitely Drake May. And see, I don't think I can quit Shakir for sure on the wide receivers.
Okay.
I kind of want to lean Keenan Allen in spite of the Joe Alt stats. I do wonder, does his role increase if they can't throw downfield as much, right? Like, is someone like Quentin Johnston more affected by Joe Alt's absence than Keenan Allen?
I do like, yeah. Keith, you're muted.
It's going to be QJ who gets the biggest impact from that. And I think you will see more targets to Allen and Ladd, and particularly Ladd, who is one of the ones that, does a great job of getting open in short spaces.
It's funny because it's all slot receivers, right? Keenan Allen, Khalil Shakir, Parker Washington.
Yeah.
I'd play two of those slot receivers for sure. I'm leaning Shakir and
All
Allen.
right. Ike, we're going to go here. Baker or May? I think we all lean May here.
Yeah. And then,
Yeah. The injuries are just catching up with Baker. I feel really bad for him, but at this point, even McMillan now doesn't look like he's coming back anytime soon. That sucks. I will say I really do like Kate Otten today for that reason. Like, he's got to throw it to somebody. And on top of that, the Patriots are arguably the worst defense in the NFL versus tight ends. And I agree with the wide receivers.
Keenan and Shakir, yeah.
Okay. From Evan here, flex help, half point PPR. Jerry Jeudy, let's go ahead and cross him off the list right away.
Yeah.
Parker Washington, Mark Andrews, or Bam, or D Mercado. Ike, let you start here. Where are you going to go here?
Parker Washington for that one, I think, yeah.
Yeah,
I think so too.
That's my lean, Kyle's lean as well. Keith, what do you got here?
Yeah, I agree. I think that, unfortunately, if you picked up Washington, once Jakobi Meyers gets into the system, he's going to take probably most of the slot snaps, which that is why Parker has been so effective here the last couple of weeks. But I don't know if that's going to happen week one. And I just think that Jacksonville is going to be forced to throw because Houston is one of the few teams in the league, like, basically nobody runs against.
Sure.
I mean, the thing with Jacksonville, like, they're missing their top two tight ends, their top two wide receivers. And Jakobi Meyers will be making his first game after practicing 3 days with the team. Like, Parker Wash, I think, will be very useful these next few weeks. Once Brian Thomas Jr. is back, that might change everything because then the offense revolves around him. But right now, Parker Washington's probably going to lead the team in targets this week.
Yep. And then to Keith's point, I also heard earlier that they're going to keep Jakobi Meyers outside this week because that part of the offense is easier to learn than the slot position, apparently. So, yeah, we're going to see Parker Washington stay in the slot. And he's in my DFS lineup this week. I think he's got a very solid floor.
It also feels like Washington has so little experience on the outside, this offense or general, whereas Myers has played inside outside more in his career. So, once Thomas is back, you maybe shift the offense to fit Thomas, and that's maybe where Washington might even just lose playing time altogether because they want Myers in the slot. But
sure.
I think I think Washington's startable as long as Brian Thomas is out.
Yeah. Where do we go here for Dion? Sam Darnold or Jackson Dart with weather concerns? I think Jackson Dart would have been the play here if it wasn't for the weather, but I still kind of like him this week because of his rushing floor.
I almost like him more because of the weather, because of the rushing. I mean, he's still the main. Now that Scadaboo's out, he's still the main goal line guy for the team. I know Singletary got a carry in the 5 last week, but there's rushing touchdown upside and safe rushing floor as well. The one thing with Darnold, the Torrey Horton injury, it looked like if you're bringing in Shaheed and you've got all these weapons, Barner's questionable. Horton's questionable. You still have the best weapon in Jackson Smith and Jigba, but just it looked like maybe a very high upside week for Darnold, and I'm sort of muting the expectations. Like I don't have him in the top 12 this week. Some of these injuries a little concerning, so I'm going to stick with Jackson Dart.
Okay. Ike, you're going to go with Jackson Dart here as well?
Yeah.
All right. Keith popping back in. Sam Darnold or Jackson Dart? You going to play contrarian? We just all went Jackson Dart. Are you going to go Darnold here?
No, I've been the biggest Dart supporter for weeks, and he's averaging 25 points per game over his last 4. And the great part about Dart, yes, the weather sucks, but he is averaging over 9 points per game with his legs. He scored 7.1 points or more in every start for the Giants, just running the ball. So I feel pretty safe that he's still going to get you 15 or so points. And, Arizona is actually a really good defense, especially on those big passing plays, which is, basically what makes Sam Darnold fantasy startable. Because if you were, needing him to drive down the field with 5, 10-yard passes, that's not going to happen. So I would go with Dart. I think he has a higher floor and ceiling.
Right on. Clean sweep there. Another one from Deanna. We got Keenan Allen, Juwan Jennings, Romeo Doubs, Garrett Wilson need to. I think we can lock Garrett Wilson in for me here.
Yeah, if he's active. It's so tough to bench, especially if you've been without him yet. You feel like you have to play him when he's in there.
Only Wilson, JSN, and Puka have a 30% target share, 40% of the air yard share, and is averaging 16 fantasy points per game. He's somebody I just feel like you can't sit. It's not a great matchup. It's not a great situation, but when you get that kind of volume, you have to play them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm kind of stuck between here, Dobbs and Keenan Allen. Joe was really high on Romeo Dobbs.
I am too.
8 spots
I think he's the big
higher.
winner of, like the latest injuries with Tucker Kraft. Like I think he's going to become their go-to guy. And again, I'm going to go with volume, even if Allen and Jennings might have technically better matchups.
Mm-hmm. I think, Kyle, you could probably talk about this more. Romeo Dobbs is probably the guy next to Tucker Kraft who Jordan Love trusts the most, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's the route running. Doubs is a precise route runner. So I think on the timing plays, especially, Love always knows where Doubs is going to be. And Keith always knows the Falcons will do something wrong based on his reaction.
Worst Penix throw of the game right there. Goodness gracious. Pitts had him by 2 steps. Sorry about that, guys.
Right. Well, I think, he plays a different role than Kraft. So I think it all just, like, both of them could exist in the offense well, but now they might just force more passes down the field. They don't really have that good yak earner, right? I think the 3 guys you'd expect to be the best yards after the catch receivers are Jaden Reed, Tucker Kraft, and Matthew Golden, right, based on their speed and their skill set. So
maybe Christian Watson, right? Can't Watson do some stuff after the catch? Or
they thought they sometimes give him like the ball in space and like carries and catches, but like so far this year, it's just been all the downfield stuff.
Yeah.
And Musgrave traditionally also was that when they were running him a lot more, he was he's going to run downfield routes, not so much the shorter routes Kraft runs. So that's why their roles also differed a little. So yeah, to your point, Dylan, there's no one to replace Kraft's role right now. I imagine once Jaden Reed's back, he's just going to get force fed the way Kraft has been, but we're still a ways away from that. So yeah, for now, this offense probably does run through Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson. Expect those downfield targets to come along more, especially they've lost these games. Then maybe they'll be pressing a little more. We're pressing for time, so I'll stop.
Sure. All right, next one here. Another one: Jennings, Dobbs, Wilson, or Odunze. Ike, go ahead.
I think we're still going to go Wilson here.
Because the weather concerns with Rome. Because heading into this week,
Rome is kind of got struggle or drop issues right now, so. Yeah,
Wilson and Rome scored the same amount of points last week. So Wilson didn't play.
Yeah, they did.
They are facing a Giants team that runs man at one of the highest rates in the NFL, and they are decimated at cornerback. So if these quarterbacks can figure out how to throw in the wind, he has just an unbelievable opportunity, especially with his man zone splits where he just absolutely obliterates man. But I think I would still go Garrett Wilson because, again, when you're in a class with just JSN and Puka, and I think the Jets stink, and you can't run on Cleveland's the other issue, so they're going to have to throw it. I would still lean Wilson.
All right.
I was thinking Rome, but yeah, I guess enough of the weather concerns.
Yeah.
It's funny how the Justin Fields top receiver seems the safer option, but here we are.
Right. Yeah, no doubt here. We going to go Baker against New England here or Stafford against the beat up San Francisco 49ers?
It's Stafford. He's killing it.
Like,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
nodding in agreement as well.
Yeah. Only the 8th quarterback to have 20 touchdowns and 2 or less picks through 8 games in the history of the NFL. Stafford's killing it. Devontae Adams is getting 2 end zone targets per game. Puka's playing. And I'm pretty sure he shredded San Francisco in their first matchup when the Niners actually had a lot of their best defenders playing, which is not the case this week.
Yeah, it was one of his 4 top 10 finishes on the season. I'm just looking it up now.
Stafford's a guy, too, man, who is getting epidurals to help with the pain in the preseason before the
Now he's
and then he just comes out.
MVP favorite, maybe.
Yeah,
Don't forget, he got his shoulder dislocated and came back in and played that last play early in Detroit. Like, he's a tough dude, man.
Yeah.
And I think just one of the most underrated quarterbacks that's ever played because, everybody said, oh, he was in Detroit. He's not any good. Look what's happened since you got him to a contender. Like, it's been great.
Yeah. He actually had a season high in passing yards in that game against the 49ers.
Oh, wow.
He had 389, so almost hit 400. So, yeah, I think just enough of the injuries with the Bucks are taking some of the shine off Baker, who I think early in the season was that MVP favorite. But
yep.
It's
just decimated at receivers, man. It's just like, he's literally throwing it to the 3 of us.
And I talked about this matchup in the goal line guide. Like, the Stafford connection with Adams is really working right now, and this seems like a matchup where they could exploit it. Really good passing inside the 5, and certainly Puka looking like he's healthier now. Like, yeah, give me
Adams ranks 4th in expected fantasy points, which is crazy. Like, the only guys that average more are Chase, CMC, and Jonathan Taylor. He averages almost 2 more points than Puka in expected fantasy points. So Adams' last couple of weeks are actually more on par of what he's averaging in expected fantasy points, and not like just, he's having a surge. It's just coming back to the median, if you believe in that.
Kyle, I'll let you take this one away. Half-point PPR, big play, long touchdown, total yards bonus. Garrett Wilson against Cleveland, Tez against New England, or Parker Washington and Houston? We still going to go Garrett Wilson here.
Well, the whole appeal of Parker Washington is the targets, right? Like, okay, with Brian Thomas Jr. out, he is the focal point of the passing offense. That's Garrett Wilson every single week. So of all the Garrett Wilson questions, this one seems the easiest, I think. Right, guys?
Yep.
Yeah. I just, when you're in a group with
Basically, if you have a Garrett Wilson question,
yeah.
start Garrett Wilson.
And I'm not saying I feel great about it. I
I
don't.
feel you, Keith. Yeah.
But it's just, again, you got to go off the data that you have, and volume is volume. And when somebody's getting 30%, and then for that question, 40% of the air yards, he's also the most likely jet to catch a big pass. So, down the field.
Right on. From Cody here, Kyron Williams, Jalen Warren, Rashad White. Keith, where are you going to go here?
Oh, I'm going Kyron. He had his best game of the year versus San Francisco earlier this season. He's been running really well the last couple of weeks, which is no surprise with Stafford throwing a touchdown pass. It seems like every other throw. And again, San Francisco, man, like now Mikael Williams, the great defensive end that they drafted from Georgia. Now he's done for the season. Add that to Bosa, Warner, everybody. Like I think that, the Niners Shanahan owns McVay. It's one of the few teams that Sean McVay has struggled with in his career. But I think this week the Rams are going to kind of get right and get, back for getting their tails whooped a good bit by this team.
I'm right there with you. You guys clean sweep Kyron Williams here?
Yeah, Kyron's still a top 10 back for me.
All right. Ike, let you take this one. Ronnie Daniel, morning fellas, need 2 RBs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex. James Cook, DeAndre Swift, David Montgomery, Travis Etienne, Zay Flowers, Olave, MHJ, Jameson. A lot there. James Cook, lock him in.
Yes.
Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm locking in as well.
I was thinking that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think I like Olave too. And then I'll probably do Dave Montgomery.
Over Swift.
And then for a flex, probably Zay Flowers.
Okay. Keith, where are you going to go here?
Yeah, I would definitely do Cook and Swift for the backs. Again, with Cook and the games that the Bills have won, which we think they're going to win today, he's rushed for over 100 yards in all 6 of them. He's averaging over 25 points per game. I think he's a great play in DraftKings as well. I love Zay Flowers this week. and Lamar Jackson for that matter. Minnesota blitzes at a 43% rate, the second most in the NFL. Lamar Jackson this season versus the blitz, first in success rate, first in passer rating, air yards per attempt. Like, I think that if Minnesota does what they've been doing, it's going to be a big day for Lamar in that passing game. Zay Flowers is very good versus man. The only person that I would strongly consider that was not mentioned is Jameson Williams, because again, he is facing a Washington team that only the Dallas Cowboys have a worse PFF grade than Washington in coverage. They play man at a top 10 rate, and that is where Jameson Williams eats. If you look at all of his games, including last week, it's when he plays defenses that play man-to-man is when he goes off. So I think there is potential for him to have a big game in Washington.
Right on. Kyle, you got anything to add here?
Yeah, James Cook, Marvin Harrison. I really like Zay Flowers as well. To Ike's point of Chris Olave, he's probably the guy I'd flex. I want to play all three of those receivers. And because I'm providing no clarity at RB2, I actually have Travis Etienne ranked higher than Swift and Montgomery. I'm a little concerned with Swift, A, the injury, and B, how good Monangai was last week. So I would be hesitant to play Swift until we see that he regains the full lead back role. So I definitely would not want to play. So
I agree with you about the concerns. It's just the Giants are like the best matchup in the NFL versus the run right now. And that's why, like, I'm actually okay with playing both of them. Like, I think Swift and Monangai are good plays this week because, again, New York, Joe Matz talked about this at length on our show Friday. They are so bad right now versus the run, and the game script is calling with the weather for them to just pound the rock. So I actually could see both of them getting 15 plus touches. And to me, the one I'd be more concerned about is Monangai until I see it, because in the games that they played together, it's always been Swift who gets a majority of the carries, a majority of the red zone touches, etc. And I don't want anything of any running back playing Houston right now.
Fair enough, but I like the opportunity at Tits getting.
Yeah, no, I get it.
And I guess to running back points, I thought Washington was worse against backs than they are. I mean, Dylan, you questioned it with like Montgomery over Swift, and I also do have Montgomery ahead of him. But
okay,
like Washington's actually middle of the pack against the run when it comes to fantasy points allowed. They're a lot more generous in like to quarterbacks, wide receivers, and tight ends. So
yeah, second lowest PFF grade in coverage. They're terrible.
Do we all like flexing 3 wide receivers? For that question, just like going with Flowers, Olave, and Marvin Harrison, or I guess you want to.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a PPR league, yes. If it's not, I would probably still play Montgomery as the third back because I just think it's likely he scores. Washington's terrible right now. I mean, with Mariota starting, like I could see that game getting away. That's usually the ones where Montgomery, falls into the end zone. But if it's PPR, I'd still rather I like all those receivers, to be honest, in PPR format this week.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of leaning to. Like, it feels like, if it's even half PPR, like as long as it's not standard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%.
Full PPR here from Eric. Pick 2, Charbonnet, Bill Merritt, blank in there. Singletary against the Bears, Mari DiMercado, Vidal versus Pittsburgh. And if Swift is out, who is not going to be out, replace him. Ike, we're going to go here.
I'm going to play Vidal for sure.
Yeah.
And then I guess I'll go JCM.
No.
I don't like Singletary very much. I don't like.
I get it, but JCM has been so bad when Washington's down. Like if you think Washington's going to win, like he's almost like James Cook. Like in games that Washington wins and is in the lead, he's a beast. But
I guess you can do Sharbs, but I don't like that either. So
he's gross too. I mean, Singletary did get all 5 red zone last week for the Giants. So
yeah, but Gardner thing's going to score the touchdowns there.
I mean, I agree, but I'm just saying if you're looking for somebody who has a safe floor, I actually think I was shocked by the snap count. I assumed Tyrone Tracy would end up being the lead back. And even before he got banged up in that game, it was already Singletary getting more of the rush attempts. He was more effective. And then again, the big thing is just getting all those red zone touches is huge. I agree with you though, that it's definitely Vidal, I think would be the guy you start. And then I would either go Sharbs or Singletary as if Swift's out.
Yeah. Kyle, you got to lean either way there.
Well, I think Singletary and Charbonnet, they do have some goal line appeal. So I'm looking at the goal line guide. The Seahawks have the higher rushing grade, but their passing grade is almost as high. So the differential between the run and pass grade definitely favors the Giants when it comes to that running score.
And again, the weather is also calling for potentially a heavy run game script in both games.
But again, like Ike said it, like Dart, how much does Dart vulture away from Singletary? I still think the higher upside is with Charbonnet, of him being able to score a touchdown, potentially get more, even though I think Singletary will probably get more carries overall and maybe more touches overall. It just feels like the higher upside is still with Charbonnet. So that's where
All right.
there isn't much safety when you're dealing with backup running back. I think none of them are safe. So then
No,
I think
definitely.
you really, after, like Vidal's the safe one. So for your second one, play the highest upside. And again, I think that's the scenario that the Seahawks could score touchdowns against the Cardinals.
Sure.
I want to thank Vidal, by the way, for preventing me from having just I might not be here this week type week on DFS last. 206 points in 2 lineups with him scoring 3.
Yeah.
He killed me.
Yeah, I had him for any time touchdown is smash matchup, and it was not pretty last week from him. Chris Olave, Devontae Smith here. Kyle, I'll let you take it away.
I have Devontae Smith inside the top 12 this week. I don't know if with AJ Brown back, I don't know if that's a huge overreaction. Should I flip them or should I at least knock Smith down? But even if I lowered Smith a little bit, he's still going to be higher than Olave.
Yeah.
Smith would be my guy as well. And Keith and Ike are not.
So is wide receiver 11 excessive? That's where I have him right now in half PPR.
Not with what he's been getting, the volume he's been getting lately. Even when Brown's playing, he's getting actually more air yards, more targets, etc. And AJ Brown really has only feasted versus man defense. I don't know how much man does Green Bay run.
Not a ton.
Especially that's another Devontae Smith then deal right there because he is much better of the two versus zone.
We're gonna go Parker. Go ahead.
The inside of the secondary is a lot better than the outside. So if Brown's playing in the slot, you trust that nickel corner coverage with Javon Bullard and potentially Evan Williams as a safety, as opposed to Hobbs and Keyshawn Nixon. One of them trying to cover Smith one-on-one. That seems okay. So my instinct this week of Smith as a top 12 guy, validated. Thanks, guys.
Like it here. We're gonna go Parker Washington or DK Metcalf. Keith, go ahead.
I would love to go Parker. Like I really would. He was one of my best, DFS calls last week. I had him as a lock, but DK Metcalf is, I know again, last week was, I think probably his worst game this season, but he is a focal point on that team. The Chargers are actually still a pretty decent run defense, but they give up a lot of yards in the pass. So I think I'd lean DK Metcalf.
I agree.
There was that thing last week where Rodgers hurt his hand in warmups or something, and he played through it, but it wasn't a great game for him. As long as it's okay, like a week since that, no aggravation. If he's better, we should expect it better than what it was last week. So again, Parker Washington drawing a lot of targets, but if you're comparing him to another team's lead target, you prefer that other player. So yeah, DK.
All right. Some injury news we just got, guys. Josh Palmer inactive for week 10. Aaron Jones shoulder active. Ollie Gordon ankle active. Harold Fannin hamstring active. Alvin Kamara ankle active, and Cedric Tillman hamstring active.
I'm saying,
by the way, the Chargers could be missing 2 corners for this game. They have one that is definitely out, and St. Just is also questionable with a groin injury.
Just
Kenneth Yang, he's not fun. I'm looking at the Bears inactives, and Swift and Kmet are not indicated. So they are both playing.
Okay,
so we have that full combination.
Right on here.
That's what I feel like. Mike, I just want to let you know. I feel like Dr. Evil petting Nico.
That was funny.
He's Dr. Evil. He was Rick Sanchez a couple weeks ago. Genius Keith. But with Swift being in, are we all ranking Swift ahead of Monungai? Is that
Yeah. Until I see it. I mean, I like if you have Monungai, you have to feel good hearing what Johnson said that he's going to ride the hot hand. That would seem like, right? It's going to be Monungai, but don't forget Swift was also running really well this season, and the Bears are just so good and yards before contact. Their line is.
Yeah.
And again, with the game script and everything, and Giants be so bad versus the run, I think both of them are very viable options there. Like I would feel good starting either of them as a running back 2 this week.
Mm-hmm. And Swift's involvement in the passing game too, especially today, I think is going to be used, and he usually got a decent workload there as well. Seen him take a screen to the house this year as well. So yeah, I think it's Swift over Monangai as well. Sit one PPR, Wandale, Diggs, Henderson, also McCarthy, Mac Jones, or Mariota. There we go.
Oof, the quarterback situation is not great.
No, he's
He's talking about TreyVeon Henderson, correct?
Yes.
We're assuming I would sit Henderson. Diggs is still the focal point in the Patriots, pass game. Again, you've seen Douglas kind of emerge, but it's still Diggs' show. And then Wandale, I think, again, the bad weather could even make a higher target day for Wandale, who, doesn't have a ton of routes where he runs it down the field anyway. And he's just so consistent. Like, he is the guy that we, call like a PPR scam, right? Because it's just, you're going to get 5, 6. I think it was last week. He had like 7 catches for 22 yards. That's just the kind of games you can get with Wandale. So he has a really safe floor.
Yeah, yes. No, I'm right there with you. Where do we go quarterback here, though? Do we go McCarthy, or do I personally lean Mariota because his legs, but where do you guys lean?
Actually, either go Jones or Mariota. I can't trust McCarthy yet. Like, I actually think that Ravens-Vikings game, if it was, and this, I can't believe I'm saying, if it was Carson Wentz starting for the Vikings, it would be like my most played, players in DFS lineups, because I think it would be a shootout. I don't know if McCarthy versus a Ravens defense that is getting better, as they've, gotten healthy, is going to be able to move the ball. I don't believe they're just going to be able to run on it kind of like they did last week in Detroit. So it scares me. I think you're probably right though about Mariota. He's going to run. Like, I mean, what's his worst game this year? Do you have that? Anybody have that right there? That he started. I'm sorry. Because I know he's had some big ones.
Real quick.
Looks like 13 points against the Chiefs.
Yeah, so that's his
starts, that was his worst.
That's his floor, is 13 points. So I'd probably would go Mariota, because none of those are great options.
I agree.
I think I'm leaning that too. I mean, Mac Jones did have one of his better games against the Rams.
And
still waiting for Pearsall. I think the rushing of Mariota kind of, maybe safer floor of all those guys. And I do like sitting Henderson as well.
Okay. For America again, half-point PPR. Tez against New England, Olave, Carolina, Brees against Cleveland, DeMarcado against Seattle, Singletary or Chicago. Is it just Chris Olave here?
Well, I think there's two.
I kind of want to say Brees.
I think it's down to those two.
That's what I was going to say. Because I would assume, right, Browns are, again, you're not going to run it on them.
Yeah.
But wouldn't you think that means Brees, again, with a cold weather game, you can't run it? He is a good pass catching back. So, like, he could have a big game just as a pass catcher. And it really just, I think, boils down to how much do you believe in Tyler Shuck. Like, if you think that he's going to be much better than he was last week, I would go, with Olave. But I have a hard time trusting Olave till we see it, especially now that Shaheed's not there taking away coverage, from Olave. I'm assuming he's going to be double covered a lot moving forward. I know that's the first thing I would do.
And I mean, he's already been earning tons of targets, so it's not like the targets will increase. So I do agree. It's probably not a positive to be losing Shaheed for Olave.
Yeah,
I think I'd go Brees Hall too. I mean, so that we talk about this all the time, especially in half PPR. If you get what you think is a volume running back over a wide receiver,
they have two different ways to score, right? Like, yeah,
right on. Kamani Vidal or DeAndre Swift? This is a tough question for me.
Oh, see, it's not for me. After seeing Vidal last week, I'm good with rolling with Swift. The Chargers, again, they've lost both their tackles. The run game has also been very affected by that. Like I don't think they had a rush of more than like 6 yards after Alt went out of the game last week. So it's not so much Vidal the player, it's just what a mess. And then you got the Bears, one of the best offensive lines in football, going against literally the worst defensive line in line of scrimmage, whatever rating in the Giants. So I'd like taking my chance with Swift.
Okay. I'm good with that. Kyle, you good with Swift as well?
See, I have easily Vidal. I've already talked about the concerns of how good Monangai was last week. Means I don't think you can just give it all back to Swift, especially since he's dealing with an injury. Vidal's going to get the volume, and he has this weird thing where he's alternated amazing games with bad games. Bad game last week, expect a good game this week. The Steelers' run defense is not very good.
That's fair.
The Steelers' defense in general this year is I remember I was seeing a stat. It's the like at points this year it was ranked 30th overall, which is their worst ranking ever in their team history. So we could say like historically bad Steelers defense. So we shouldn't view them as this like tough matchup. So I like Vidal. Vidal to me is still in the spot where I'm just playing him everywhere.
Okay. Bradley,
be careful with Chargers moving forward, is all I'm saying. Joe Alt on top of Ronnie Slater is a big loss.
I do wonder,
like I'm sitting.
Does that mean they
everywhere.
run more, right? Or does that mean more dump off passes because they can't throw deep? Like we talked about
in the games that they've had so far, like they were actually throwing, I think, more because they led the NFL in pass attempts, and then Alt came back. Now they're like third or fourth. I mean, they're still a team that they're going to just chuck it a lot. Either way, it just again, it's a great matchup, and you could be right. I do really worry when somebody like Joe Alt goes out. It's made Herbert a lot worse. Again, the running game has not been as effective without him. And, Mike Tomlin has proved at times the defense is bad, that they can still scheme stuff up, right? Because they've kind of shocked me the last two. Yeah. With the way they played and, pulling out those games.
I know. Where are we going to go here for Bradley? Pure desperation picks 2 RBs here.
I've been there, man.
Bam Knight, DeMercado, Chuba Hubbard, Chris Rodriguez, Terrell Jennings. Are we back in on DeMercado this week because of his pass catching upside and just, what are your thoughts?
I thought, didn't Bam Knight play more passing downs than DeMercado last week?
I'd probably do Bam Knight for sure.
Bam, you did it. How much did we yell Bam last
week?
Yeah,
right.
No one's asking. No, everyone's like, okay, forget that. Forget Bam Zonovan Knight.
And second one, maybe Hubbard. You hope for maybe Dowdle's injury is a little bit worse than we think, and Hubbard will get some carries. I don't know. I don't like Rodriguez very much, and you can't play 2 Cardinal running backs. So
was Hubbard still running more routes than Dowdle last week, or did that change?
The target, I don't know about the routes, but I know the target share was 15% and 25%. Like Hubbard had slightly more.
Yeah, so I'll go Hubbard then.
Nobody likes Jennings in this situation. Again, Tampa has an incredible pass rush. May's been sacked 16 times in just the last 3 games. Tampa has 15 sacks in the last 3 games. They've really struggled with the run as late. And Jennings got a good bit of the red zone work last week. He scored a touchdown. And I do think there's going to be points in that Tampa Bay New England game because even when May's getting sacked, he's still able to just, move the ball up and down the field, it seems like, at will. So I think he's interesting. And I will say, I know we all I immediately thought the same thing with Rodriguez, but in games Washington's getting killed, which I think is what's going to happen when they play Detroit, he gets a ton of the work like in the second half. And, again, volume wise, he may end up with more rushing carries than any of those guys potentially.
That's a good point. And the goal line guide would indicate Washington the best chance of a touchdown of all these teams. They have the same rushing goal line grade as the Panthers, but the Panthers passing score is a lot higher. It's like the 5th highest of the passing grades this week. So,
and if Dottle is not like hurt again, he got all of the carries inside the 5 last week. So that's make it less likely Hubbard's going to get any kind of goal line work.
Okay. For Cody here, Shakir over Quentin Johnston. We're gonna go Shakir here.
Yeah,
yep.
I hate it because it's a tough matchup for Shakir. Miami's actually they're so bad against the run is why they're so good. Pass, but I can't start QJ, who is by far I think the Chargers player most impacted by the Alt injury.
All right,
and to be fair, his own injury too. Like the early season spike weeks aren't there. I mean, he scored the touchdown last week. I think he still maybe maxed out at 15 points. Like he wasn't. Because
I finally set him is why he finally scored another touchdown after 2 donuts or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, now I sit you and you're going to score a touchdown.
Earlier when he was scoring a touchdown, he was getting you like 25 points. Now it's so he's still not 100%.
Targets are way down too.
His injury. Yeah. So this isn't the same Quentin Johnson we saw earlier in the season.
All right. We got Jackson Dart or Jalen Hurts here.
Ooh, wow. Now this is where it gets so interesting to me because again, Dart has scored 18.6 points or more in all 6 starts. He's averaging like right at 22 points, and he's averaging 25 his last 4 starts. But having said all that, I think Hurts is one of literally 3 guys that I can't start him over yet. He's getting there. Like he really is. I went over this last week and Dart went out and scored 27 points. Like I kept picking Dart against everybody, but Hurts, Lamar, Allen, I still can't play Dart over those 3. Anybody else? I think I would start Dart right now.
I'll add Drake May. That's the only other guy that I have ahead of Dart. I'm mentioning, but they're both top 5 quarterbacks for me this week, but I have Hurts at QB3. So.
Yep, I'd go Hurts as well.
Taking a lot of Eagles players against my Packers, but it's also the Eagles. So that makes sense.
Sure. Alvin Kamara, Tyrone Tracy, Ike, where are you going to go here?
Oh, God, that's gross.
Kamara's tough, unfortunately.
I guess Kamara. I'm holding out. Holding out hope.
Kamara's cooked, but Tracy's just not that good. So.
Yeah. I know.
Actually, I think I might go Tracy if he's available to play. Kamara is just like, I don't know what's going on, but it's like his volume is up, especially like in the passing game, and he's still not scoring any points or doing anything. And if Tracy plays and gets the same volume they did last week, which I know is not great, it is against a Bears defense that really struggles versus the run. So at least they have a chance, right? Like to be able, I just don't see Kamara. Carolina's defense is good. Like they are.
Yep, I feel that. That one's a tough one. So yeah. From Keith here, TJ Hawkinson, Juwan Johnson. Both guys got a touchdown last week.
Yeah.
Hawkinson's 3 games with McCarthy, 4 targets, 3 targets, 3 targets. That's not enough. I've got
at least gets targets.
So Hawkinson's basically unplayable, I think, with McCarthy going forward.
Looks like Teteroa McMillan is good with the hamstring injury, healthy today.
I see Renfro and Termaine inactive, so they didn't bring up any extra receivers either. So they're also not thinking, okay, he's active, but we're worried about his health. Like they put a couple other receivers inactive, so those are guys where if the Panthers were iffy on McMillan, you'd see at least one of those guys active.
We could go Roma Dunze or Marvin Harrison Jr. full point PPR. Marv, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess I initially had Odunze higher in my rankings, but I do have a lot of confidence in Marv this week. Brissett, right? Like this is the best version of Marvin Harrison.
Yes. I think with Brissett there, I think you got to be excited with Marv. I think with the weather concerns, I think Harrison Jr. I think he's the right play here. Flex Laporta or Tyrone Tracy full point PPR. I'm gonna go Laporta. I think
I am also going Laporta.
Yeah, good touchdown upside. I mean, he's second on the team in targets inside the 5. So outside of Amon-Ra St. Brown, Laporta's that main red zone end zone weapon for Jared Goff throwing touchdowns.
Right on. From Alex, Wandell, Dobbs, or Henderson full point PPR.
We had something really similar. Was it Diggs, Wandale, Henderson earlier?
I think so. Yeah.
I want to say Dobbs here.
I was thinking we bench Henderson again, like we did last time for sure. And
I think so, yeah.
I've got Wandale and Dobbs closely ranked, 23 and 26. Does the weather help or I think I lean Wandale just because the weather might actually help him, but
sure, yeah.
Either of those receivers, I don't play TreyVeon.
Yeah, keep TreyVeon on,
especially in the format full PPR. Full PPR really does help Wandale.
Yeah.
If it was half PPR, I might go with Dubs.
And then Wandale or Washington full point PPR.
Ooh,
Wandale.
Yeah.
If it's again like Washington versus Wandale, they're actually really similar in terms of types of players. Low A dot. No doubt. I just think the talent of Wandale, what he can do after the catch, is greater than Parker Washington. So if you're going to give those target earners, even with the bad weather, I'll take
one. Let's go Debo, Henderson, or Rome. Start 2. We start the 2 receivers here. I know Debo's been brutal.
Yes.
Specified full PPR as well on the next one.
Yeah.
I know bad weather. I kind of like Roma Dunze still, but
I think you go Rome here still as well. Yeah, they're gonna try to get him the ball in his hands after the nonsense his dad was tweeting this past week, and Rome having just 3 targets last week. Like Keith alluded to it earlier, the man coverage is good. What's that?
Rome's dad.
Oh, Rome's dad. Does Rome's dad and Caleb dad know each other and they do this stuff together? Like your grown ass men. Children are men, like they're not boys. Like,
I know. Yes, just shut your mouth and let them go, man. I don't understand. I can't imagine doing that as a father, man.
But, if I was Rome, I'd be like, "The fuck you doing, man?"
So yeah, Rome. Yeah, let's go.
It's funny, when we've had these TreyVeon Henderson questions, it's been TreyVeon versus wide receivers, and it seems like we've always just defaulted to benching Henderson. This is another example. I think again, knowing the format, full PPR too. You like those receivers.
Right on here. From Jose, Running back is Swift, Henderson, Monangai, Tracy, and White. Who should I start at the flex? I think we've kind of landed on DeAndre Swift, right?
Yeah.
Rashad White. I mean, he's going to be getting most
You're
of the
going to go
volume.
Rashad White?
Well, yeah. I'd probably do White.
Patriots have not allowed 50 rushing yards yet this season to any running back.
That worries me there.
White's still more with the passing,
too.
right? Like we like him as a pass catcher.
I would go with either of the Bears back over White.
Okay. We didn't really help there. Keith and I are on Swift. And
every question someone's asked about TreyVeon Henderson, none of us have had the audacity to play him. Right? He's not getting goal line work. He's not catching enough passes. Like what did he do? He gets carries. He plays snaps, but don't play TreyVeon Henderson. We've at least provided that clarity.
Right on. From Jose, who do we start here? Caleb Williams, Sam Darnold. Probably Darnold because of the weather.
I think I had Caleb higher, but if this weather is as serious as it is, I think probably would go Sam Darnold.
I guess Darnold.
Overreacting to weather. That's the
But and I feel like it's not
terrible. Stupid if you underreact to the weather too.
Here's the thing: it wasn't that big of a difference. I had Caleb at 10 and Darnold at 13 before taking the weather into account. So they're 3 spots difference. It's not like it was a massive drop for Caleb.
Yeah.
No, I think that the Darnold reason he was a little lower is again Torrey Horton being out, potentially Garner being out too. I don't know, but I think that those risks are maybe less risky than the weather. He still is Jacksonville and Jigba.
I'm with you there. Keith, you okay going Darnold over Caleb?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like it. I actually think that if there is somebody out there and you have a roster spot, I would strongly consider it. I like Marcus Mariota better than both of those guys this week because of his floor. I just think there's a good chance that he has a good game. Now, again, Darnold could be unleashed with Shaheed. I think it was a perfect pairing.
Yes,
Darnold has a 98 passer rating on passes of 20-plus air yards. Shaheed has a 95 PFF grade on targets that go 20-plus air yards. So it's just I wonder how, acclimated he'll get. And he was also great in this exact offense with Clint Kubiak the first 6 games last year before he got hurt.
Yep. All right. Trying to decide between quarterback, a wide receiver 3, Mac Jones or Trevor Lawrence here, guys.
Mac Jones, I'm not playing. Again, I don't want anything to do with the Texans.
Okay. I'm right there with you there. And then Parker Washington over Kendrick Bourne, correct?
Yeah, especially you're kind of I think sometimes when you have a quarterback that you're not sure about and you have to play, I don't like stacking them. I know that kind of goes counterintuitive, but then that way at least you can't have 2 eggs if, say, Mac Jones has a terrible game.
Sure.
I also think since Juwan Jennings has been getting healthier, Warren's role has been
Kittle's back.
Kittle's back too, right? Those 2 things together. Yeah. Because again, we're not comparing him to a guy that we think earns volume. It's just small volume with high upside with Bourne, whereas we bench Walker over a bunch of volume earning guys. So Mac Jones and Parker Wash. That's great.
And guys, this is a disaster of a question here. Start 1, bench 2, cut 1 because they need a kicker. Rome, Travis Etienne, Stephon Diggs, or Cortland Sutton?
What kicker does he have?
Who are we dropping here?
Is this one where you just take the 0 kicker and say whatever?
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, what kicker are you holding? I'm assuming
the kicker's got to have a
Aubrey, right?
Why can't you just drop the kicker?
I mean, I love Aubrey, but there's no kicker that I feel like
to drop any of these guys,
especially in a 4 small bench. It seems like
I just hold Aubrey and take the 0 kicker. That's what I would do.
If you want to keep Aubrey, I agree. That would be the way. I would not.
I wouldn't drop any
of those guys.
I'm with you. Who's the start?
And I mean, Sutton's already played, so you can't really cut him, right? I mean, I guess Yahoo, I think, will let you cut players who played, but
Diggs, I'd probably say, is the start.
Do we go Diggs here as the start? I think so.
Man, I would have hoped you. I mean, I would have said play Sutton, so I guess you hope you didn't play Sutton based on his results. I kind of like Travis Etienne again. I'm the volume running back kind of guy. If there's a volume back over receivers, I tend to prefer Etienne.
My question would be, I'd either play Adunze or Diggs. If you need a monster game, I would go Adunze because, again, how much they play man, the Giants do. They're very bad versus he's very good versus. If you're looking for the safest play, I think it's Diggs. again. So I would. It kind of depends on what you need there. I think Diggs is a safe play, and I think Adunze is the real high upside play.
And this is just some context on his roster. Baker and Pat. See, roster and 2 QBs with only 4 bench spot is tough. Like Pat.
See, you have Mahomes. You're not sitting Mahomes anymore. Like I would be.
He's on bye right now, so
He's
you
on
can
bye.
try
Oh,
to-
that's right. I'm sorry. Yep. Duh, Keith.
Unfortunately, your kicker and your quarterback are on the same bye week. Right? That it's like leagues like this where you really have to pay attention to that. Like with Mahomes, you shouldn't have drafted Auburn because they had the same bye week, knowing that like
Sure.
you can afford to maybe have 2 of one of the positions, but not both. You certainly, zero.
I mean, actually, I will
zero
say,
kicker. That's what I'd say. No kicker. I'm wearing the no kicker shirt, so go with no kicker.
seeing his receivers, though, I will say if you want to drop,
Sutton.
Roma Dunze, or if you can drop Sutton still, like you're not going to be starting them. Like you're going to start Ladd and Rashid every single week, and probably Ibuka because of the volume with Tampa Bay's receiver situation.
Yeah, that's fair. That one. That's that question.
It's a tough question, though. Sorry, man.
Big time. Might be the toughest we've gotten this year. Slayton or Demario Douglas? Keitha, you're gonna hammer Demario Douglas here, right?
If the weather was better, you could make a case for Slayton, but with the weather on top of it, and I just think Douglas is going to play more than 25% snaps again. Last month, over 4 yards per route run, 28% target per route run. So yeah, I like Douglas a lot.
All right. Mayfield or Dart with the bad weather?
Dart.
Dart
for me. Yeah. Kyle, not
again. 9 points per game as a rusher. He's got at least 7 in every game this season. That's crazy, man.
Start 2 here with tight end PPR or tight end premium full point PPR. Breece Hall, Vidal, Rashad White, Dobbs, Shakir, and Njoku Schultz.
Hall. No matter what. I'm assuming that's Breece Hall, right?
Yeah, we're gonna go Hall and Vidal.
I'm going Breece Hall no matter what, and probably Shakir or Dobbs. I'd go Shakir.
I don't mind playing Rashad White, to be honest.
I don't. Again, I can't touch the. I don't trust people playing the Texans, but I'm kind of surprised. Like tight end premium, I think Schultz is a great play. Scored double digits 3 of the last 4. Just since their bye last 3 games, 21 targets, 17 receptions, almost 200 yards. And this is a Jags D. Don't forget, last week, Bowers and Mayer combined for 15 receptions for 153 and 3 touchdowns. And they also gave a touchdown up to the tight end in 4 of their previous 5 games before that. So they are, without question, the worst defense in the NFL versus tight ends. And if you need any more evidence of it, like I'm the biggest Bowers guy in the world, but the fact that against a really tough defense, he did nothing shows that Jacksonville did play a part. And that monster game he had last week.
Right on. All right. From Cody, Keenan Allen or Wandell, full PPR?
That's tough.
I'm going to go Keenan.
Yeah, I would too, slightly.
Kyle, you as well here?
I think so. Yeah.
All right. From our guy, Mike LaPlante, who filled in for Keith last week. Appreciated him. Malik Washington or Tez Johnson, full point PPR?
Tez.
Yeah.
Like that offense a lot more, the Buccaneers.
Actually,
They're actually not that far off my rankings.
Wide receiver from Jose here, Khalil Shakur, Keenan Allen. Need one. A lot of Keenan Allen questions today. And Shakur and a lot of stuff.
I'm going to go Shakir.
I'll go Allen slightly. I'm okay with playing either one of them. I just think Buffalo is going to roll in this game. Miami, again, gives up 145 rushing yards per game at 5 yards per carry. Cook's gone over 100 yards in every win this year. I wonder how much they're going to have to throw, not to mention Miami's terrible versus tight end. So I really like Dalton Kincaid today, actually, of the Bills pass catchers.
All right. Anything to add, fellas? No?
Nope.
Okay. Fields or Baker? Keith's saying he doesn't like anybody. No, never mind. Baker's not playing. I thought he was going to Texans. Baker against the Patriots and Fields.
I like Fields just because of the floor. Now, granted, the Bucs had an entire week, right? Like a bye. Hopefully, they figured some stuff out. But it's It's insane. We thought they had too many receivers at the start of the season. Who knew they did not have enough?
No doubt.
It's been just an awful year from an injury standpoint. And, you know, again, that rushing upside is so huge. Fields could have a 40-yard touchdown run. That's 10 points right there. And you can't run the ball against the Browns like with a running back. Like no running backs have been able to do anything, which I would assume means Fields runs even more than normal this week.
Okay. Not much pushback from me there. Kyle Monangai or TreyVeon Henderson? Is this
Monangai.
TreyVeon Henderson? We're still gonna go with Kyle, huh?
Yeah.
Kyle, man.
See, I'm hesitant on taking either Bears running back until we see what the split is. So with Stevenson out, I'd go. This is where I finally would lean TreyVeon Henderson.
All right. From Jose, who scores the touchdowns, Swift or Money Guy?
Goal line guy slightly leans towards the pass. So I mean, Monangai, amazing week last week. They didn't have any rushing touchdowns. So
I know.
I would venture to say neither because I've been picking against them a lot of this time. So I think that
I would be shocked in that weather game if they don't have a rushing touchdown against the Giants' rush defense, which Joe Matt said is just the worst. But if I had to guess one, I would say Swift, but I mean, hell, if you're going to do that, just do the parlay and hope they both score rushing touchdowns.
Yeah,
right. David Njoku, Colston Loveland here. With
Fannin back, I'm going Loveland. Like I was hoping Fannin was out and Njoku would have been a great play, but they're going to both get volume. It's going to eat into Dory Loveland. I think, to what Kyle said, I know I shot down was against the Bengals, but still you saw the talent of Loveland for the first time. It was the first time this year I was like, oh my God, they're not just complete morons for taking over Tyler Warren,
Yeah. They would have ruined Warren too, let's be honest.
Another tight end question here from Cody. Henry not tight end. Is it Henry or?
Yes,
Theo Johnson. It is tight end. Theo Johnson. I was thinking Tez Johnson there at tight end.
It's Theo Johnson. 25% of the Giants' targets or Dart's targets go to tight ends. If you look at Johnson's 4 games that he has not played the Eagles that Dart started, and the Eagles are elite versus tight ends, he's averaging over 14 points per game in PPR formats, and he scored 4 touchdowns. So I think that Theo Johnson is a great rest of season tight end because, again, Giants have also lost a lot of their weapons. Like you don't have, obviously, Neighbors, and then on top of that, Scatterbo is getting a bunch of volume. So I love Theo Johnson. It's also a good matchup. I think Bears like 20th versus tight ends.
Right on. Cody also lost. Jaden Daniels been playing Flacco over him. Flacco's on a bye. Start McCarthy or Fields at quarterback. Justin Fields, right?
Yeah.
All right. And then we are a little bit over time, guys, but I do want to run through rapid fire real quick on these questions from Reddit. Here we got Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield. Just one word answer.
Darnold.
Darnold.
DJ Moore, George Kittle, Goddard, full point PPR.
Goddard.
Yeah, a lot of zone. I agree. Goddard.
I think so. The Packers have been vulnerable to tight ends.
Harold Fanning, Hunter Henry, Colston Loveland.
Fannin with him being active.
Loveland.
Yeah, I think I'd probably lean Fannin too.
Kittle or Kincaid?
Kincaid.
Okay, Garrett Wilson, Zay Flowers. Ooh, tough one there.
Garrett,
yeah.
I'm going to go Flowers there because, again, just that number I gave earlier about how much Minnesota blitzes, how good Lamar is versus the blitz, and Flowers is very good versus man. He's also playing in a dome, not in a bad weather game.
Okay. And then 2 more guys, Sam Laporta or Gadsden, full point PPR.
Gadsden.
I got Laporta higher.
Yeah. I love Gadsden, and he's probably going to end up outscoring him because I'm saying Laporta right now. But Sam's been on a heater, and Washington has been so bad versus tight ends. In the last 3 games, they've allowed 4 touchdowns to opposing tight ends.
All right, love that. And then last one, Breece Hall, TreyVeon Henderson. We're going to go Breece Hall there.
Breece.
All right, guys.
Breece through that.
Great stuff as always. We appreciate everyone's time, everyone's comments. Make sure to check out Kyle's goal line guide. Comes out Thursday, right?
Yep.
All right. Now I'm struggling on Ike. When's injury impact come out? Mondays?
Yeah. Oh boy. You got it right.
Roll, Dylan.
Let's go. All right, guys. We appreciate you as
Dylan,
always.
you going to stick around or you got to bounce?
No, I'll hang out with you, Keith.
Awesome.
All right, Kyle and Ike, we appreciate
Thanks, guys.
you.
Enjoyed it, guys.
Yeah, I'll see everyone in 2 weeks. I will be gone next week to the great.
Oh, well, cool.
Yeah.
Have a good one, Kyle. See ya. All right, Keith. What do you got going on? Whoa, no, where am I going? There he is. Took him out. Now we're good, Keith. Where are we going for DFS this week, my guy?
So let's start with QB. Dart, again, I still think is the best value at the QB position and in fantasy. Like if you look again at his actual points per game, don't forget on DraftKings, that 17 points per game includes a game where he scored 0.3 points and negative 0.3 points and played, I think, a combined 6 snaps. Otherwise, he's averaging over 22 points per game, which is actually his real per game starter. That's the 14th most expensive quarterback on the slate. And again, he's third in points. Only Allen and Lamar average more. And again, the rushing thing is just so huge. Over 9 points per game on the ground. He's had at least 7 in every game with his legs. But I do love Lamar this week. Like, he feels underpriced at 6,800. I mean, Allen feels underpriced too at 7K, if I'm being honest. But I just like the fact, again, that stat about Minnesota blitzing 43% of the time, and Lamar just, like, he's first in almost every category versus the blitz. When you blitz, it's also more likely Lamar will have a big rushing play, right? Because, again, you got a lot more defenders kind of already assigned somewhere and a lot of open space typically in those situations. The only reason that I'm not smashing Lamar over, like, you know, because I have Dart and Lamar basically in about 50% of my cash lineups this week, is I just do, like, I have real worry, can Minnesota keep up, right? To where Baltimore then has to keep their pedal to the metal. Like, that's my only concern. I expect this Baltimore offense with Lamar back, we saw it last week, to just roll. His price is going to rise. So 6,800, I have some lineups. Do you have any other quarterbacks you really like this week?
No, man. Those are the two that I like as well. I don't have any Lamar. I just do the one lineup. So I had Jackson Dart in.
Now it's this, I mean, right. And again, it's going to eventually end. Like, it just will.
Yeah.
But 18.6 points or more, it's a 6-game sample size. And even his worst game, again, at 6 starts, is over 3 times the points that he needs. Well, there goes Jonathan Taylor for a 500-yard touchdown, which not only sucks for my Falcons, it sucks for my fantasy teams because, of course, I'm playing them in like 3 leagues this week. Oh, I hate fantasy sometimes.
Double whammy.
The running back position this week, I've had a hard time zoning in because you can obviously make a great case for both Cook and A-Chain, like, in my opinion.
I have A-Chain in one of my lineup as well. And
again, the Cook thing I just want to point out is the fact that if you think Buffalo is going to win, which I think we all do, he's averaging 25 point per game in the games that they win. And he's had 100 rushing yards in all 6 of them. So expect that. But Dave Eddy, and this is why I love having him around and why you should be in our Discord. Yeah. He said that he is just putting CMC in there and figuring it out. And you know what? He's got me to pivot to where CMC's in the majority of my lineups because he's just the steadiest thing in the world, right? Like, he's had 1 game, and that was against, by the way, that Texans defense. No offense, Kyle, that you kept saying play ETN again. I'm telling you, Texans defense is really good. Like, you don't want any of that Texans defense. I just, like, CMC's floor is probably 20 points, right? And I think there is enough value plays at other positions where you can figure it out. He's, in my opinion, the safest play of the guys that are 8K or more by a good bit. Like, you know, no offense to JSN or Puka or those guys, but just CMC, you have both the rushing and receiving capabilities. And all of a sudden, he's had both of his 100-yard rushing games in 2 of the last 3 weeks, which that was also when George Kittle returned from injury. So I think Kittle being there, almost being like a 6th offensive lineman, has sort of unleashed CMC. Dottle has to be in every lineup. Like, I mean, again, he finally got the bell cow. I know the injury's a little scaring, but 83% of the rush attempts, all the carries inside the 5-yard line. For me, the shocking thing was his target share again was 15%. Hubbard's was 25. So he's, you know, not like just losing passing work to Hubbard. And then the other big thing, again, 3 games with 20-plus touches, 173 rushing yards per game, 31.3 points per game. Since week 5, Dottle has 633 rushing yards, 454 on inside runs, which, by the way, that is where New Orleans struggles versus the run, is right up the gut. So Dottle, to me, is the best value at running back. I do think that you could make a case that Quinshon Judkins is I think the going to be low owned. People are missing it out, and he could end up having a monster game because he's been really good, with the exception against New England, which, remember, New England has not allowed 50 yards to any running back they face this season. Yeah. So, like, nobody's running on them. And the only bottom 10 defense he's faced this year, which the Jets are versus the run, was the Dolphins, and he scored 26 points versus them. The other thing is, don't forget, the Jets just traded away their best corner and, more importantly, their best defensive lineman against the run, Quinnen Williams. So, and that's a bad weather game. So I think Jukins definitely should be considered. And then I can't put Swift in the DFS lineup for 500 more, but I do have lineups with Kyle Monangai. Like, the comments by Ben Johnson, at least I think point that he's going to get the rock, right? Like, he's going to get some carries. And I mean, Joe Matt spent almost 15 minutes on our DFS show Friday talking about how bad his New York Giants is against the run. And so I do think that both of them are playable, but I'm always going to play the guy that's cheaper when it's close. And if we, say Kyle was right and he thinks that Monangai is going to get a majority of the work, that's great in this situation. So let's go. The only cheap back that I'd even really consider this week is, again, Devin Singletary, who I talked about. He, 55% of the snaps, which nobody saw. He had more carries, average more yards per carry. And then again, the big thing, all 5 carries inside the 10. So it looks like he's the goal line back, which is huge. In Chicago, 131 yards per game. That's the 8th most in the NFL. And they're one of only 5 defenses allowing 5 yards per carry to opposing running back. So if you're desperate, that's where it's at. Do you have any other running backs that I missed? I know we mentioned Achane. You just like his floor. He's been so much more involved with the passing game, et cetera.
Right. His floor with the passing game. And then I like Kyren Williams too. And you talked about we were doing start sits. Yeah. Against San Francisco, had his biggest game of the year against them. He's probably going to be low owned because Blake Corum's been eating in a little bit. But that doesn't scare me away. I think Kyren at least finds the end zone. I think he's going to be
Doesn't he seem more effective when, like, it seems like every time Corum starts getting a little bit of volume, it seems like Kyren pops off. Like last week was an example, right? Like it had gotten really close, and then Kyren had over 100 rushing yards in like a big game. So I don't know if it's motivation, if it's rest, like what it is, but it seems like every time we think Corum's getting a grip on it, Kyren reminds us, no, I'm the alpha back in this backfield. The receivers, originally I had JSN in a lot of lineups. I still think that, definitely consider him. He's averaging his last 10 targets, 8 receptions, 136 yards, and 28.9 points per game on DK. He joined OBJ as the first guy since 2014 with 4 straight games of 8 receptions and 120 plus yards. But I think that Devontae Adams at 7,700 is the most expensive receiver I'm going to have. If the Washington-Detroit game was not a bad weather game, St. Brown would be in a ton of my cash game lineups. I think he absolutely should be considered for GPP. He feasts on man. Again, Washington runs man at a top 5 rate. But Adams, I talked about it a little bit. He's got 20 red zone targets. That is 8 more than anybody else in the NFL. And he's averaging 2 end zone targets a game. So the difference between a red zone target, right, is it's within the 20-yard line. An end zone target means literally the ball is going towards Adams and he's already in the end zone. It's part of the reason he has 5 touchdowns the last 2 weeks. And then again, I believe in expected fantasy points. The only people averaging more expected fantasy points, CMC, JT, and Chase. We saw obviously what JT is, doing today to my Falcons. Yeah. CMC again is the most. By the way, CMC is expected fantasy points per game is 27. So that's why, like, Dave Eddy's right. Like I'm so glad that he pointed that out because I would have had him in no lineups and probably been furious. Again, Garrett Wilson, I've kind of ended up pivoting from, but he is somebody you should consider because he scored 19.1 points. In 4 of the 5 full games he played and a touchdown in 4 of the 5 full games he's played this season. He's one of only 3 receivers with a 30% target share, 40% air yard share, and 16 points per game. The reason I've pivoted on him is I really like 2 guys, and they're in basically every lineup. Zay Flowers is one. He led the team in Lamar's first start in targets, receiving yards, receptions. The problem was the Ravens just smoked. I think what did they play, Miami or whoever last week? So they ended up not really throwing it a lot. if Minnesota can move the ball like they have, recently, they should be able to keep up and make things interesting. And it's just, again, that blitz number. They blitz 43% of the time. Flores is somebody who normally does not change his plan no matter what the situation is. He's going to do what he does, which means bring pressure. Sure. And Lamar has been by far the best QB in the league when blitzed. And Zay Flowers is somebody who that's what he does. You have two basically defenses you see versus the Ravens, where they put that extra person in the box, and that's to kind of, spy on Henry Lamar, right? To kind of be there for whichever one if they end up doing a running play, or they basically bracket or double team Flowers. And Ravens typically go to whichever is working more. I think Minnesota is going to try to take away the run first. That means Flowers is going to have a big game. Demario Douglas, though, is just smash play every lineup. Again, last 4 games, he did not play more than 25% of the offensive snaps, and he caught 11 passes, 232 yards, 2 scores, was averaging just under 5 yards per route run and seeing a target on 28.6% of his routes. And then Kayshon Boutte's out. So you would have to assume that number goes up. So if it just continues, he should at least get you double-digit points. You only need 12 to hit his 3X number. I do think Zacchaeus is also somebody you should consider. Okay. He's getting a lot of value. He's very good versus man. The Caleb Giants are awful. Caleb obviously likes him because, again, he's targeting him more than Odunze, targeting more than Burden. I think even more than a lot of them. He's seeing a target on 27% of his routes run. Over the last 2 weeks, he had the second highest snap percentage and the highest route percentage of the year for him last week. So it's been actually going up. And again, this defense, the Giants runs man, top 5 rate, and his first read target goes to 24% versus man, and he gets a 25% target rate overall. His 25% red zone target share, by the way, ranks 15th among wide receivers. Wow. So he is somebody, like you said, that obviously Caleb trusts and likes to go to. Tight end's just a treasure trove this week. There's so many good matchups. If you want to tell me you want to play a McBride with the way Brissett targets him, I'm okay with that. But and again, Laporta I think is a great matchup. That Washington defense, by the way, that's what I was going to say. So in the last 3 games, they've allowed 20 receptions for 204 yards and 4 touchdowns to opposing tight ends. So I just don't worry about that game script. How's it going to go? St. Brown's so good versus the man. And you can basically I got 2 lineups this week. I got Dalton Schultz in a good bit. Again, Jags just awful. They've allowed 7 touchdowns to tight ends in their last 6 games. And he's seeing heavy volume. And I think Davis Mills starting means Schultz will get even more volume because we saw how bad he looked passing it down the field. But I just really love punting on tight end this week. And there's 2 options. Greg, is it just Dulcich? How do you say it? Dulcich. Thank you. I'm country. Yep. Sorry, guys. The best defense in fantasy versus tight ends is the Buffalo Bills. So let's start out with the bad. But in his second game with Miami, he saw a target on 26% of his routes run, caught 5 passes on his 5 targets, scored 9.9 points, which was tight end 18. At 2,600, your 3X number is just 7.8. So that's not, that tough to get to. And don't forget, Miami has revitalized already 2 tight ends in just the last year in Jonnu Smith and Darren Waller. So can McDaniels do it again? Maybe. And then the other guy who I just love is Daniel Bellinger, 2,500, literally the lowest you can pay for a player. Jackson Dart, again, targets tight ends on 25% of his pass attempts. And if you look at Bellinger, he also, outside of when he's faced Eagles, has been really good with Dart and actually has been his big play guy. He had over 50 yards in one game, 80 yards in the other. He's got a touchdown. I think the Giants are going to go 2 tight end set a lot. We saw them do this a good bit until Bellinger missed last week. I also think that was actually their worst offensive game overall. I know they scored a bunch of points in the 4th quarter, but that was just all garbage time stuff. I think Bellinger at 2,500, the chance he gets to 7.5 points, I think is very high. I do like Theo Johnson as well. He's 3,800, but if I'm going to play a Giants tight end, I'd rather play Bellinger at 2,500. If you pair him with Jackson Dart, even in a cash lineup, you're talking about under 8K. You can't beat, or excuse me, just over. Sorry, I'm bad at math. 8,200, but still 8,200 for a quarterback who's been excellent and a tight end that, again, the quarterback throws 25% of his pass attempts to tight ends and has had a couple big games with Dart already. I think that that's something to work with there. You got any other like tight ends or receivers?
I got Mark Andrews, man. He's just because Keith, he's so cheap.
Yeah, no, you're right.
$100. Maybe they get
a ton of touchdowns too.
Yeah, you alluded to Lamar
versus
the Vikings blitzing Lamar, maybe having to get the ball out of his hands quick. I had Roma Dunze as a wide receiver. The weather is scaring me a little bit. You alluded to it earlier with Rome against man. He shreds.
He's a great play in GPP though. Like I don't trust him in cash just because I think there's better options that are safer. But like Joe Matt's talking about, his upside is outrageous this week. Did I write that down? Because I know that it's the difference in basically his target rates is and first read rates go up over 20% versus man compared to zone.
Yep. And then I also have Parker Washington. I think his floor is solid. And if you're going to attack Houston somewhere, it's mostly in the slot. So I'm okay.
Well, if they're down, right, they got to be throwing. Like I was hoping Stroud was going to play and he would have been in a ton of my lineups. I am concerned, can the Texans score points? But what is Washington, like 37 or 3,900? I think he's definitely worth that at his price
47 actually.
Or Washington. 47. Oh, so see, they bumped him up a bunch after last week.
And then who's your defense play, Keith? I just went with the Browns sacks and maybe Justin Fields turnovers, 2,900. Defense was weird this week.
It's one of those weeks that 26 to 3,100 is where I'm going. Like normally I always go down. Ironically, the one that I mentioned last week, Tennessee, who I didn't play in any freaking lineup, had both a punt return and a pick six. So they would have been the defense to play. I think New Orleans, if you want to try to make a case for anybody under 2,600 is the defense I would play versus Carolina. I mean, Bryce has still not looked good even with how good Dottle's been, but I like the Browns. I love the Texans again, 3,100. They're just good at everything. Again, least amount of points to QBs, 8th fewest to running backs, 4th fewest to wide receivers, 5th fewest to tight ends. And then the one I truly love is just that Tampa New England game. Either side of it. You can go with New England at 2,600, but I actually like the Bucks at 2,700 even more because, again, May's been sacked 16 times the last 3 weeks. Tampa has 15 sacks in their last 3 games. And, oh, by the way, also 8 turnovers forced in those 3 games. Tampa's defense is quietly all of a sudden, like, you know, I guess seeing the offense, right, is not doing much anymore and going, I guess we got to carry more of the load. I also want to mention the Jaguars. They're also 2,600. Davis Mills looked awful last week. Yeah. And Jags are pretty good versus the run. So I don't think that Houston's going to be able to just run the ball, right? Like they're going to have to throw it. The Jags have not had as many turnovers as late, but they had a bunch of them early this season. And I mean, Davis Mills is somebody I feel pretty confident is going to throw at least 1 pick. It goes for a pick 6 at 2,600. That's 8 points and you're golden, right? Like you're good.
Love it, man. I'm watching the 2-point conversion right now. I'm behind. They're up. All right, Keith. Falcons take the lead, 25-22. I don't want to jinx you, but let's get you out of here so you can finish the end.
London, too, by the way, just that another monster game, 2 touchdowns. I caught a lot of flack for saying I thought he was a top 5 wide receiver. I just found out Matt Harmon, who I think is one of the smartest minds in fantasy, he had him in as his wide receiver 1, which that's one of those deals where I'm like, yes. It makes you feel smart, you know. Do you want to get there? There was like 3 questions out the bottom. You want to get them real quick?
Let's go ahead. Here, we got from Dylan here. Loveland or Schultz? You're real high on Schultz here. That's
I am. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. And then Terrell Jennings or Bill?
I got to go Jennings because, again, JCM just doesn't get any volume when the Commanders are down, and I don't see them beating the Lions, especially the Lions coming off a loss. Like, they're going to be angry.
Yep. No doubt there. And then Diggs, Rome, or Travis Etienne, full point PPR?
I would, again, the question is for Dopey there. And that's not me calling him if you can't see right now. His username is literally, what is it? N10Z Dopey? Is that right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. if you think you need a monster game, I would go with Dunze. Like you need a home run. If you're just going for the safe play, I'd go Diggs.
Yep.
I will say Kyle's very good at what he does. He likes ETN. I can't take a running back versus Houston. I just don't want anything to do with anybody really against them right now.
Oh, I feel you. Oh no. I just saw the kickoff too for the Colts go out to the 50. All right, Keith.
Oh, we'll screw this up, buddy. Don't you worry. This is what we do.
And then BD goes, Keith, I love Algier. He's killing me with these touchdowns. It's
the problem with Bijan, man. Like it is like he's not great at what I meant to mention this stat when I was talking about James Cook, by the way. 46% of James Cook's rush attempts this year are going 5 yards or further. How is that possible?
Oh, man.
And like Bijan is actually someone who has a lot of stuff runs. Like he lives off of those big runs.
Yep.
And the Falcons are smart. They're like when they really need rushing yards late and like in the red zone, they're going to give it to Algier because he's never fumbled in his entire career. And he consistently gains yards. Like he has one of the highest averages in the league of getting at least 2 yards or more.
I got a couple more questions. Then
Sure.
Let's get out of here. Jakobi Meyers or Douglas wide receiver, half-point PPR? Let's go Douglas, right?
Yeah. I mean, I just want to see what Meyers does first before I get,
Vidal, Tracy, or Gatson in the flex?
I think I would lean Gadsden. Again, I think they're going to have to throw it a lot quicker. And, tight ends typically run a lot of underneath routes.
All right, cool. And then last one here from Dr. Clutch, kind of sucky options. DeMercado, Kelvin Austin, Darius Slayton for the flex, full point PPR.
So this is, again, like one of those questions where I would ask, are you looking for upside or you just want a safe play?
Right.
I think DeMercado is the safe play because, again, he does work in, the passing game. He also, I think, is their most explosive back until Benson gets back. But if you're looking for a home run play, I do like Darius Slayton versus the Bears. I know it's bad weather, but Slayton's one of those guys that he's either going to have a monster game or he does nothing. That's what he does no matter who his quarterback is.
Right there with you. Addison over any of these three, Rome, Ladd, Nico. I'll just stay put. I do like Addison. I do. And him.
I think I could understand throwing him in over a Dunze. Again, because of the weather, right? And also I think the Vikings are going to be down and throwing. I am a little concerned though that Addison got 4 targets in the first game back from JJ McCarthy because he was feasting with Wentz and getting almost the same volume as Jefferson. And now that's at least from the first sample, not the case. 3rd and 21. Like I said, buddy, the Falcons are gonna Falcon. I hate him so much. I really do.
No. From Kate, Addison, Tet, or Gadsden in the flex. We're going to go Tetaroa still.
I think I'd actually, again, go Gadsden. Like, I love the volume he's getting, and I think that they're going to have to, get the ball out of Herbert's hands even more this week. So I'm going to go Gadsden. Again, Pittsburgh is terrible versus tight ends, too.
Okay. We go start 2 full PPR, Aaron Jones, Vidal, Hall, or Kamara. We go Breece Hall.
Yeah, for sure.
We go Aaron Jones or Vidal here, Keith.
I like Aaron Jones. I mean, he's obviously banged up, but he reminded us last week before he got hurt that Jones is still that dude, man. He was good last year, when he was healthy. He was unbelievable in the playoff run by Green Bay the year before. And in the games he's played this year, he's been really effective. He's just hurt all the time. So when he's playing, if you've held him this long, you might as well, go ahead and start him up.
I like it. All right, Keith, go ahead, plug what you got going on, man, and then let's get out of here. Take us out, my friend.
I'm watching the sorry-ass Atlanta Falcons blow yet another game. I try to tell people, I mean, you get used to it. We're kind of dead inside as Falcons fans, but at least we have nice, shiny things, right? I'm here, obviously, every Sunday helping you with your start sit, talking DFS with my man Dylan. On Friday nights, me and Joe Matz get together, do a DraftKings DFS cash game show, which I think there's a ton of good information. Joe likes stats and data even more than I do. Me and Casey Kasem do a show called the 12 Must-Know Fantasy Football Stats. They're actually from the week before, but we think that they're important moving forward. That's been a lot of fun. That usually comes out on Fantasy Six Pack on Tuesdays. And then I do both a cash game cheat sheet for Fantasy Six Pack, which that you have to be a premium member to have access to. But my full main slate preview is free for everyone. I go every game in the 1 and 4 p.m. window. tell you defensive rankings, the over-under total, and then point out the DFS plays that I like in those games.
Love it, man. Whole bunch of great stuff there. And then one more question sneaking in, and we're getting out of here. Flex full point PPR, Debo Hall, White, Aaron Jones, or Monangai. Brees Hall for me. Keith, where are you gonna go?
Again, I may regret it, but I'm going Monangai. Like, I think it's a very good chance both Bears backs score a touchdown today. So, and if Monangai ends up getting the volume, he's by far got the highest ceiling of those guys. And I just think that it's going to be a heavy run script from Chicago with the weather. That would be what I'd do, especially with how good the Giants offense has looked as of late.
All right. Love it, man. This was fun as always, Keith.
Yeah, Dylan, enjoyed it, buddy.
Yep. Looking forward to next week. And everyone, appreciate the comments. And we'll talk to you guys next week. See you later.
If you feel a shiver in your body, it's because I just broke my TV because the Falcons lost this game. So.
Oh, no. See
you, Dylan.